Welcome to Payne Weber College basketball on ABC Sports this afternoon from the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. The 20th ranked Tar Heels play host to the Virginia Cavaliers in an ACC matchup. And hi, everybody. Along with Dick Vitale, I'm Roger Twybo. Dick, North Carolina struggled early in the ACC season, losing their first three. Have they turned the corner now?
Well, you know, Raj, they were 9-1 until they ran into the ACC, and that was their dilemma. But they're playing brilliantly now. They had that sensational win over Florida State, 90-62. And the reason for their great performance, Ed Coder, their diaper dandy point guard, was brilliant. Had 10 assists and only 1 turnover and scored 14 points. And Shammond Williams is flat out shooting the rock. 25 for 40 from three-point range. The Heels are back, baby.
Virginia has never won here at the Dean Dome, and they haven't won in Chapel Hill since '81. After this, John Saunders coming up from New York. Roger Twybo, Dick Vitale with you at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, as we get set for this ACC matchup between Virginia and North Carolina. There's Jeff Jones, the head coach of Virginia. Last time Virginia won here in Chapel Hill, '81, and Jones was the point guard on that team. Robinson, Nolan, Ducharme is the center, and then that backcourt, Staples and Dean can light it up from outside.
Well, they're outstanding perimeter players, and they can shoot the jumper from deep, but the bottom line is they struggled in their last game where they were really ineffective against Georgia Tech. As you look at the Dean of Coaches, Michelangelo Dean Smith.
1,118th game as head coach. That says it all right there. Okalacha, Jamison, Swicker, Carter, and Williams in the backcourt, but Coda will come in and play a lot.
Ed Coder, the freshman, has really been playing brilliantly. His assist to turnover ratio has been sensational. The last game, he had 10 assists, only 1 turnover.
Well, playing hurt today in New York with some laryngitis is John Saunders, but let's check in right now and update some scores. John?
Roger, UMass against Rhode Island. The game went into overtime. Edgar Padilla, creative, finds Charlton Clark, knocks down the shot from the baseline. UMass led by 1. They had a couple more and win by 3 at Providence. 64-61, UMass over Rhode Island, and Maryland and Clemson. Clemson has held the advantage throughout this game, now leading by 12. Back to you, Roger and Dick.
John, thank you very much. Some upsets this week in the top 10 and another one in the making.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Hey, John, you mentioned he's playing hurt. I'm going to send you some honey and lemon, baby, and some hot tea, John. I'll send you some Vitale's Remedy for a good throat.
There are the standings. Carolina can get to 500. Remember, they lost their first 3 ACC games. Virginia had a 4-game winning streak stamped at Georgia Tech on Thursday night.
Not only did they lose their first 3, it could have been 4. They won that game over NC State.
We got an official hurt. And the jump ball.
Frank Scagliotta.
Yes, Frank Scagliotta looked like he took an elbow. Oh, yeah, Jamison got him coming down.
Jamison catches him coming down, as you said, Roger.
Or Carter, excuse me.
Was that Carter jumping center? Oh, yeah, they're using Carter with the great legs. Watch the number 15.
There's the caught him with a hand,
The left hand caught him accidentally. Frank Scagliotta is an outstanding football coach. He's tough, though. He's a competitor. He's a paisan. He's going to bounce right up.
Hey, we got guys playing hurt in New York, down here in Chapel Hill. Announcers, officials. He says Steve Gordon and Jim Haney, the other officials today, as Frank is going to go over and take a sip of water. You see the series record heavily in favor of North Carolina. The last meeting was at Virginia, and an impressive Virginia win, 75-63, as Norman Nolan had a big day there with 20 points and 11 rebounds.
He had a double-double. He was really physical on the inside, Nolan. And the perimeter players for North Carolina shot horrendously in that game, 3 for 21. They really couldn't find a jump shot.
Yeah, Carter was hurt in that game, had a hip pointer, only played 10 minutes and didn't score.
This is a different-looking Carolina team now, playing with an extra bounce, a lot of confidence.
Dean strips it away from Williams, but he gets it back.
He's really been shooting the ball, Roger. 25 for 40 from three-point range.
Defensively, Virginia.
Man-to-man defense, one of the real good defensive teams in the ACC. Second in field goal percentage defensively to Wake Forest.
Look inside. Nolan, big, strong body. Kick it out to Dean.
Nolan matched up with Jamison on the interior.
Dean misses the three. The offensive board and the putback by Nolan.
Nolan blocked him out. He's got that big, wide body. He's a space eater inside. Came in with a big reputation out of high school.
Virginia gets on the board first to Swicker, who's really improved his game this year with the easy jump hook.
I'll tell you, he's got that nice little feathery touch, that turnaround hook shot in the lane. It's not a sky hook, but I'll tell you one thing, he's up and away at 7-3.
Hey, Dick, he's averaging over 11 points and 8 rebounds a game. He's really having his best year in his 5 seasons. The only remnant of that 93 national championship team is Serge Swicker.
He also had a big game against Southern Cal earlier this year. 22 points, 20 rebounds.
Ducharme, the freshman, strong on the offensive glass.
He's really impressed them with his physical presence, a strong inside player who initially they thought they were going to redshirt him this year.
Williams for 3. He hits, and he was hot 4 of 6 the other night against Florida State.
He's been really on hot from three-point range. His cousin is going to be playing in the NBA All-Star game. Who is he? Kevin Garnett, his uncle's son. Minnesota Timberwolves hooking up with Tom Gugliotta.
Jamison going for the steal against Ducharme. Robinson on the baseline, finds the open man, step back pop, and hits. Curtis Staples.
I'll tell you, he's a long-range shooter. Last year struggled shooting the 3. This year seems to be a lot more comfortable. He and Dean are taking better shots. Dean's a heck of a defensive player.
Okalaja 13. Does so many things away from the basketball offensively. His numbers down a little bit as far as his shooting this year, both his three-point and field goal percentage down.
Well, Raj, Dean really likes him because he is that complete unsung hero kind of player. Screens, passes the ball well.
5 on the shot clock, and Jamison trying to find Swicker, and Ducharme comes up with it.
Jamison was in a little slump until the last game when he went for 15 points and 15 rebounds against the Seminoles.
Impressive victory as North Carolina came up big, and the three-pointer from outside won't go. Jamison the rebound, and Ducharme on the back.
Jamison's so active, number 33. Look at Ducharme. He's trying to muscle him. See, they want to knock him out. There was a foul right there in that call. Look at the forearm. The whole philosophy is to push him away from the blocks. Don't allow him to get to the interior.
In the game now for North Carolina is freshman Ed Cota, number 5. 20-year-old freshman.
Well, there's a reason for that,
jump hook won't go, and the rebound pulled down inside by Robinson.
Robinson's versatility can play 3 positions. Point guard, second guard, or the...
Carter, Jamison. Carter lost it and found Jamison for the flush.
Well, his athletic ability allowed him to get away with that. He was able to hang in the air, get the ball around his back, and get it to Jamison, who can really run the court. That was sweet music, baby, to the Heels fans.
Cota matched up on Dean. That's Carter on Staples who knocks it away. Step back, shot won't go by Robinson. Georgia rebound by Jamison.
Georgia Tech really dominated them in the second half. In their last game, Virginia came in with a 4-game winning streak against the Ramblin' Wreck.
Didn't shoot the ball down there, Dick. They were 1 of 12 from three-point land, and Staples just 1 of 7.
Hey, Raj, Ducharme is really pounding. I mean, he's pounding on the inside.
Alley-oop! And the foul, and count it.
I'll tell you, that's all of the days of Jerry Stackhouse when he did his jam in here. Slam, jam, bam time. They get it inside the corner is one of the high-wire acts in college basketball. He's the elevator man. There's the back screen. Flip it up. There's the eye contact, and there's the reverse jam by VC, Vince Carter. He's got that great bounce off the floor. Player of the year in high school out of the state of Florida.
Carter at the line, 78% on the year, trying to complete the three-point play, and the miss. Okalaja, the offensive board, able to keep it alive.
Now watch the physical contact away from the ball, people. Jamison's got to step away. He wants to go inside, but Ducharme, oh, he just banged him one right there. Did they call it? Yeah. Oh, come on now. They banged him right there. So physical.
And in attendance today, a couple of former Tar Heels. How about Jerry Stackhouse and Rasheed Wallace? Wouldn't Dean still love to have them here?
Well, they both would be here. They both would be seniors as you watch Carter kicking it off. Jamison with the jam. I mean, they would be seniors here. Could you believe that?
Dick.
All right, John. Swicker, the jump hook in the lane as Chase Matheny has checked in.
I'll tell you, Chase had some good moments recently against Richmond. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds, the big fella, and he had 4 block shots in a win over Florida State.
He also had 4 blocks in the earlier game against Carolina this year, back on January 11th.
I'll tell you, there he is with Swicker. You got a lot of size out there. Swicker a little bit wider.
Carter for
Coda to Carter, the CC gang. I'll tell you, C squared for Jam City. I love Vince Carter's high wire act. I'll tell you, he is an up and away guy.
Coda, the leading assist man in the ACC at 6.4 a game, and he could become the first freshman since Kenny Anderson back in '90 to lead the ACC in assists.
Well, we're going to watch the lob up over in the top. They clear out the weak side, and there it is. Slam, jam, bam. One of 3 point guards to start for North Carolina. Phil Ford started as a freshman, and Kenny Smith started as a freshman.
There you see what Coda's done. His first 16 games and his last 3, and the offensive production has really stepped up. And look at the 72%.
Exactly. That shot selection, Roger, taking better shots, maturing as a player.
Courtney Alexander has checked into the game for Virginia. He's battled some ankle problems of late as Nolan inside draws the foul on Swicker.
They need some productivity out of Courtney Alexander. The last 2 games, he's come up empty. He's had that ankle injury. As you look at Jeff Jones, I mean, he's had a solid career. 132 and 79, winning 63% at Virginia. Had 4 seasons with 20-plus wins, 4 NCAA berths. He's done a heck of a job.
Maktar Jai checks into the game now. He's given them some valuable minutes off the bench of late, and Swicker will sit down.
Yeah, he's starting to really get comfortable out there, Maktar.
There's Nolan at the line.
Went to Dunbar High School in Baltimore, where they produced so many great high school players. Keith Booth, who's playing now in Star and one of the 5 best of the ACC for Maryland, played there as well.
Just a 53% free throw shooter.
As you said earlier, Roger, had that big game in the win over North Carolina. North Carolina was really struggling at that time, and Virginia took advantage of it. This league, it's almost mandatory that you must protect your home turf. It is so difficult to win on the road in the most competitive league in all of college basketball.
Carolina by 2, 11-9. 14:40 left to go first half here from Chapel Hill. Jai, the jump hook, and the foul on Matheny.
Well, you know what I liked about Jai right there? He was very active without the basketball, and he wanted to take it right up at Chase Matheny. I mean, you look at the size there. What a mismatch size-wise.
Is Jai on your own Marco Polo team? He's been around the world a couple times, hasn't he?
But, you know, really not his fault, Roger.
Yeah.
He went to Wake Forest, and he wanted to really stay there. It was rumored with Tim Duncan, but they ruled that Wake had an advantage in recruiting him because of I guess, someone stepping in terms of helping and assisting in the recruitment process. And then he went to Michigan and didn't get the kind of playing time and came here and loves it. He told me he absolutely loves North Carolina.
Just a 40% free throw shooter. You saw 2 clanks right there by Jai. You know, North Carolina has taken the fewest free throws in ACC play this year, along with North Carolina State. They both came in with just 117 attempts.
Really, I think that is because they don't get a lot of play on the interior. They become a perimeter team, shooting a lot of jump shots other than Jamison. Swicker inside doesn't take the ball to the basket. He shoots that little fadeaway jump hook shot.
And the final, Clemson defeats Maryland, and Cincinnati comes up big over Marquette, who's really struggled. They've lost a couple of games now this past week, and Michigan over Penn State.
I think we're going to see Cincinnati make a run. I think Bobby Huggins has sent a message to his players about discipline. He sat Patterson out against their win over Tulane, and Fortson was brilliant as they got him the ball inside. Watch the Bearcats.
Matheny kicks it back out to Dean. Good pump fake. He has it stripped away, though. Matheny gets it back, and an offensive foul.
Look at Matheny leading in from out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Jeff Jones has to have solid backcourt play for his team to have a chance to win. As we see the left arm make contact with Maktar. If they don't get a positive performance out of Dean and out of Staples, they have no shot to win. They really rely so much on their perimeter game.
Craig McAndrew, 54, a freshman from Australia, has checked into the game. He's a big, strong, powerful player. He had to sit out some games earlier this year because he was with a professional team in Australia. As the leaner won't go, Jai misses it, and McAndrew gets the rebound.
McAndrew came out of Australia. Remember Andrew Gaze, 1989, Seton Hall?
How about Andrew Vlahad at Stanford? Another big, powerful player in the same mold of McAndrew. With 3 outside, Robinson can't get it down. And here comes Coda. Ooh, sweet move right there behind the back.
Well, he's penetrating really well and kicking it out. Penetrate and pitch. That's their philosophy.
Jamison takes the outside shot, won't go. They've forced him away from the basket more this year, haven't they, Dick?
Well, that's the one rap on him, that he has to develop a much more consistent perimeter shot.
You know, Dean has got some leg problems. He's playing with some shin splits. Didn't practice yesterday with the team, and he's really kind of struggled. I mean, he is just not able to practice, and he's playing in pain in every game.
Well, he's averaging 14 points a game. Physical, tough. He's a tenacious defensive player. Didn't have a good year last year, though he led them, as you look here at Dean. He led them last year in scoring, but he only shot 34%.
See, team fouls, Virginia 6 and Carolina just 1. As Dean will take a seat on the bench right now.
Right now, they continually want to push Jamison away from the basket. They don't want to allow the post inside to use his quickness.
Okalaja on the baseline, trying to get it out to Jai, and the turnover. And here comes Robinson.
Robinson was a kid I thought was going to be a star when I watched him in the ACC tournament as a freshman.
He's able to draw the foul on number 5, Ed Cota. That's his first. Well, he's a versatile player for him. He's been asked to do a lot of different things in his 4 years.
Well, he's second in rebounding on the club, and he's second in assists, so he is certainly demonstrating his versatility. He's the captain, the leader.
Carter and Zwicker come back in for North Carolina. Now, Virginia's made a pretty good turnaround from last year, Dick. They were 12-15, their first losing season in 8 years, and the first time they missed postseason since the 87-88 season. They had a lot of trouble, a lot of off-season problems also.
Yeah, they had off-season problems. Dean had some problems off the court. Seems to have those behind him right now. And then you had the problems with a recruit, Melvin Whitaker, who's now in jail, basically, who they were really counting on at 6'10", never enrolled into school. And that had to change their whole philosophy of recruiting. They got in late with certain players, like you mentioned, McAndrew, but it changed their whole composition of what they have. But they're a happy team now, and they've been playing well this year.
11-10, 1 point. Carolina leads. Zwicker, the turnaround. The follow by Carter won't go. Gets it back off the glass, misses again, and tipped out. I'll tell you, I think Carter could hurt himself on the backboard. He can sky so high.
Trying to get some good spacing, Virginia, in their offensive set.
And the foul on Carter outside.
Alexander's had some big moments as a collegiate. He's from out of Durham, North Carolina. He had a great performance. I remember last year, about 26.5 he put on against Georgia Tech. He's their leading scorer, but he's had that ankle injury. As you look at being on that sideline, he's got this team back in a hunt again for a possibility of finishing in a top 3 in a conference. 32 consecutive years he's done it.
That's unbelievable. And a jump ball called. We've got a timeout on the floor. 11:53 to go first half. What might have been, Dick?
What could have been. Look at the two guys. That's Jerry Stackhouse on the left, Rasheed Wallace on the right, out with an injury, having a great year. Jerry certainly having some great scoring moments, but he and Allen Iverson, their numbers are down in terms of field goal percentage. As you watch the ball entered inside.
Nolan with the easy two.
He's got great potential when you talk about Jerry Stackhouse. Hey, can I run over there and get a loan? I want to get a loan. I need some cash. Hey, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go over and get a loan, okay, Raj?
You don't need one, believe me. You don't need one.
Oh, yes, I do.
Hey, Dick, North Carolina's not scored in the last 4.5 minutes, and Virginia with a 1-point lead.
Well, you know, Virginia, their strength, as we talked about earlier, is their team defense.
Right.
They really get after you defensively.
Allowing just 64 points a game, and the opponent's only shooting 39% from the field, so that's really their strength.
And that's second best to Wake Forest, who's #1 in the conference at 34. Who we'll see tomorrow against Missouri, which could be for #1. I'm going to vote for Wake. If they beat Missouri at Missouri and Kansas were to get beat, let's say, by Iowa State, I'll vote for Wake. If Kansas wins, I'll vote for Kansas.
Some people would make a claim for Minnesota.
Good right. They have a right to make a claim, but I will put Minnesota if one of those two teams win in the third slot.
Alexander for 3 off the mark, and the offensive board underneath by Staples. And the foul underneath, and this is what's coming up on Payne-Weber College basketball. Dick and I will be in Columbia, Missouri for Wake Forest and Mizzou. Louisville and Memphis. Larry Finch, of course, is going to step down. And Tulane in Arizona. This will be a real good basketball game out west. 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central Time tomorrow here on ABC Sports.
Gerald Honeycutt, a big-time player. They lost a heartbreaker, 65-64 to Cincinnati.
Second foul on Zwicker there as the turnaround shot won't go. And Virginia having a hard time finding the mark. As Robinson, after the miss, comes back with a loose ball.
Good execution. Here's Robinson demonstrating his versatility playing at the point.
Well, you know, Virginia has not shot the ball well last year or this year. Last year, 41% from the field. Last in the ACC as Nolan knocks it down. They're only shooting 43% this year.
I tell you, Norman Nolan, to me, has really improved from the player I saw last year. Gets right in the gap, makes the open shot, and here he is matched up defensively against Jamison.
Foul on McAndrew away from the ball. That is his first. And Nolan with 8 of Virginia's 14 points.
You know, Virginia and North Carolina had a classic matchup in 1982. As we watch, Serge Zwicker inside. Look at the push. Look at the push. He's saying, thank you. Come on. Thank you. 1982, they had that matchup, which was unbelievable. When Michael Jordan was there, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Ralph Sampson, 47-45 in the ACC championship. Othello Wilson was hurt in that game. But Roger, because of that game, the shot clock went into effect because everybody was the Kodak man standing around as they played ball control with all those supers on the floor.
Zwicker 69% on the year as he knocks down the first one. Dean Smith started with 851 victories this year, 25 to tie Rupp, 26 to break the record, which is 876 victories by the other former Kansas graduate.
I'll tell you one thing, he's got a great shot to be the all-time winner, don't you think? That's Lock City. It's just a matter of when.
He said, unless they go all the way this year, it'll probably be early next year.
He's so proud of the achievements of Roy Williams. He talks in glowing terms about Roy.
Steal by Carolina. Jamison
Give it up.
Down court to Carter. Underneath the Williams, the left hand won't go, and Carter gets it back and puts it in.
Vince Carter really getting up on a glass today. I think he's getting a spark out of seeing Stackhouse and Wallace here, and I think they've ignited him. He's saying, Jerry, I know you can flat out jump, baby, but I got some great legs and wheels as well.
22nd timeout call as Carolina, with 10:05 to go first half, has a 1-point lead over Virginia. And here's the defense by Carter.
There's Carter. Now the ball pops loose. Now we're going to see them kick it out. Jameson kicks it out. See right here, that bounce hurt. If he gets the ball without the bounce over to I guess it was Carter down. No, it was Williams. They would have had a layup. They would have had a layup.
See who was on the floor? It was Okalaja. He leads them in steals, and he's a guy that does all the little things for North. Dean Smith loves it. Dean Smith just absolutely loves Okalaja. You see the 2 points, but he was hurt in that game. He had a hip pointer, only played 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
As the pressure by North Carolina, as Dean back in the game, 21. Nolan 25 inside.
I'll tell you, Harold Dean is playing hurt. He's limping. He's really trying to gut it out here today.
Carter another steal. Jamison at the other end, the scooping in.
He's a great transition player. Harold Dean is limping on that leg. He's trying to gut it out and play it. But you can see that he's physically. Look at him limping. Look at him limping.
Harold Dean is tough. He said, if I don't have anything that's broken, I'm going to play. And there's a strip right there by Williams. Down at the other end, Dean behind him, and count it, and the foul.
I don't think he even touched him. I don't think he even touched him in that sequence. But let me say this. Harold Dean could end up hurting the club by trying to play injured, too. As tough and as tenacious as he is. And he's got really a lot of guts to try and give it a go. But he's playing, as you said, Roger. Look at him. See him limping? Now watch him right here. Look at him. Look at him right there. Now here it is. You can see him like favoring that leg. And now he's going to reach in. Oh, I guess they said he made contact on his arm. I didn't see it. He said, look, I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him.
Williams 82% from the free throw line and completes the three-point play. 9-0 run after North Carolina had gone 4.5 minutes without scoring, and they lead it by 6.
See, it's very tough for Harold Dean right now. Very tough for him to beat him off the dribble and get penetration. McAndrew
kicks it on the other side. Dean for three. Hits!
I tell you, makes the big shot, though. You got to give him credit. He's got over 200 three-point shots that he's made.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Dean and Staples, as we mentioned at the top, the best backcourt duo ever as far as three-pointers.
They've both made over 200 three-point shots. Now watch there. He's going to drift out. They're going to drift out. He gets open. Williams a little bit slow, rotating out, and he knocks it down. He can make the open shot. excellent ball handler as well.
I'll tell you, he's really turned his game around this year. You know, he struggled last year, Dick, as he had more turnovers than assists a year ago. He's turned that all around. He's really gotten back on track. Some people said he was too selfish last year.
Well, he shot 34% last year.
Billy Dersch, who's just checked into the game, misses the jumper from outside. He's a freshman out of New York.
He was heavily recruited by North Carolina and Duke. Everybody was after him. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of playing time yet.
Well, tonight on ABC, this year's hottest actor Tom Cruise and hottest author John Grisham team up for The Firm. Starting at a special earlier time, 8/7 Central. Gene Hackman co-stars with Tom Cruise. That's tonight on ABC.
You know why I'm envious of him? I mean, Rosie O'Donnell loves him, and I love Rosie, and I'd love to meet Rosie.
You want to get on Rosie's show
Rosie
now.
O'Donnell, she's a superstar. She loves Tom Cruise. I'm better looking than Tom.
Nolan the miss inside. Gets it back. I'll tell you, he is persistent on the offensive glass.
He's really carrying him on the inside. He's really keeping him right here.
He's got 10 points, and it's a one-point ball game. You don't have to beg to get on TV shows. You did 3 other TV shows before today's game.
I'll tell you one thing. They're really locking up defensively to get back to our game, Roger.
Swicker loses it, but kicks it back outside. Okalaja. Boy, good look right there, and Swicker gets the easy 2.
I wish you could see Swicker, though, catch the ball, utilize the 7-3, and jam it one time.
Swicker with 6.
Trying to get their offense geared, a little inside-outside action. There it is, inside-outside.
Dean draws the foul and tries to get the shot down.
He's had that knack throughout his career of being able to get to the free throw line. I loved him after his sophomore year. I thought he was going to have a great junior year, but really struggled. Remember, they were 25-7 back in 1995. That was the year that they beat Kansas over in Kansas.
Junior Burrow, of course, was the main man.
And they got beat by Arkansas for the right to go to the Final Four. That was the year Arkansas was trying to go back-to-back, 94 and 95, and UCLA won it all.
Dean 80% from the free throw line, playing over 36 minutes a game. He's been to the line more than any other Virginia player.
He's an Iron Man. I mean, just a tough competitor. Wants to be a warrior, as he said. That's what he wants to be remembered as, a guy that really poured out his heart for that uniform.
Dean with 5, and Carolina leads it by 2 with 7:19 to go first half. Carolina by 1 here in Chapel Hill, and Payne Weber believes the best investment is an investment in education, and they salute Colin Ducharme, the scholar athlete of the game, and congratulate him on his own investment in the future. Payne Weber recognizes that commitment to education with a $1,000 donation to the University of Virginia for ongoing research. Payne Weber, you can't lose with an investment in education, a 3.89 GPA. That was better than your scoring average in college, wasn't it?
It took me 4 years to achieve that academically. I'll tell you, he's from Douglas Freeman High School, Ducharme.
In Richmond, yeah.
Richmond, Virginia. He's had some really solid moments. They thought, as I said earlier, that he was going to be redshirted this year, but he's made a positive contribution inside.
And he went home and played Richmond, got a season-high 14 points last week, along with 4 rebounds.
That's a beautiful campus down in Charlottesville. One of the great schools in America academically. They've had solid athletic programs. Terry Holland, outstanding athletic director, who brought Jeff Jones there and ultimately gave Jeff his training. Jeff worked under him. Jeff's been at Virginia 19 years.
Since he left Owensboro, Kentucky, as a high school player to come to Virginia. He bleeds Cavalier. I mean, he has been there for, as you mentioned, 19 years as a player, assistant coach, now head coach.
I'll tell you one thing. He learned a lot from his dad, too, an outstanding high school coach.
Carter with 7.
See, right now the tempo of this game is exactly the way Jeff Jones wants it. He wants to control tempo. He doesn't want to go running up and down the court, especially with a kid right now who's playing with like a leg and a half, talking about Harold Dean. He's just trying to gut it out. Is it a little limp he has with that left leg? Look at him as he tries to cut through.
Check out some other scores for you on the ABC Sports Board. Stanford, UCLA coming up later today, as Swicker got a piece of it.
UCLA got beat by California. Big win by Cal to beat UCLA on Thursday. Stanford beat them by 48 points in their first meeting, so it's redemption time now for UCLA.
Third foul on Swicker. Yeah, that was a 40, the worst loss in UCLA history, but then the next game they came back and beat Cal. UCLA did.
Yeah, they showed some pride. You know, I was talking to my buddy today, my former assistant coach, David Gaines. He was telling me about Henry Bibby. Bibby had a great win the other day. David's going to be inducted tonight in a situation where they're hanging his jersey at Lemoyne Owen College, where he will be honored hanging his jersey up there. first jersey ever to be hung up as he played here, number 32.
As Nolan makes the first one.
Hey, you know Don Nelson really well. Help my buddy Dave Gaines out. He'd be a great evaluator of talent and a scout for the Mavericks.
You want me to make that call?
Yeah, make that call to Don Nelson.
No problem.
Smokey Gaines would help him tremendously. As you see the brick right here.
Nolan misses the second one. Nolan had a big game against Georgia Tech with 20 the other night. Got losing effort as a foul was on Jai. Akhtar Jai, his first foul.
Jai with the foul. We talked about Southern Cal and Mr. Bibby. They had that big win over Stanford.
Oh, yeah. Henry Bibby has done a great job at USC as Ducharme will go to the line.
Good-looking kid. Big, strong inside player. They think he's going to really develop. Gets a little bit more offense to his game, as you said. Had a nice game against Richmond.
73% free throw shooter. Won't go, and Jai with the rebound.
Jai is much more active than he was earlier this season. I see a little bit of him getting into a comfort zone now, coming off that bench.
For three, Carter can't get it down. McCann drew the rebound, and the reach-in foul is going to be on Jamison. And Monday, Dick, after an all-new Dangerous Minds Valentine's show, Mary Tyler Moore and Ed Asner are together again on television for the first time in 20 years. It's the world premiere of Payback on ABC Monday.
I'll tell you, you talk about two P.T. Pierce primetime performers. You talk about Mary Tyler Moore and Ed Asner. You're talking superstars.
Williams checks into the game for North Carolina.
Shaman really shooting the three-point shot really well. Steve Gordon's got every hair in place, the Zebra. Look at him, the referee, every hair in place.
You and I should be so lucky, huh?
Wow, I have no hair to worry about, so it's always
I'm catching up with you, pal. McAndrew throws a brick up there.
Didn't really look good, releasing that free throw. Virginia very physical, Roger. Very physical team defensively.
Well, that's double good. Traveling right there.
See, what's happening right now, Virginia and Jeff Jones has to be really happy that they're making the game a 5-on-5 game. They're not allowing North Carolina to get in transition like they did against Florida State.
6 turnovers for North Carolina. They lead it by 2. Low scoring first half here. And away from the basketball.
Offensive foul there by Virginia.
Ducharme picks up his third.
Jeff was a solid point guard when he played.
Well, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time on the Deuce, it'll be Georgia Tech and Florida State. That'll be an interesting matchup. Florida State struggled a little bit, and Georgia Tech got a big win the other night against Virginia.
Well, Florida State right now has put themselves in a position with 6 ACC games remaining. I really believe they got to go 4-2 to have a chance to get into that big dance. And that's not going to be easy, and that game is a must. If they were to lose to Georgia Tech, it will be really tough for them to get in the NCAAs.
And Williams knocks another one down, so makes both free throws, and the Carolina lead back to 4. See Dean just walking the ball up. He has to walk it. Walking with a limp.
See, they got to play close. They can't fall by big numbers down, Virginia, because I don't think they can pressure and get back.
Alexander.
He's the
knocks
guy.
it down, and we talked about Dean being hurt. Our guy in the studio, John Saunders, playing hurt with some laryngitis. He'll be coming up with the NCI halftime report.
Courtney Alexander's going to have to put on some big points. He's an outstanding wing player. Has great scoring potential. He's been playing with that ankle injury.
Williams for 3. Knocked his first one down. Missed that one as Jamison couldn't get it. I'll tell you, Jamison and McAndrew are really going after one another. Traveling.
Well, they've been rotating guys on Jamison, really banging him physically.
So Courtney Alexander, Dick, as you mentioned, makes a big hoop, his first basket of the day, and he is their leading scorer at 14.7 points per game. They need that offensive production out of him.
They got 3 guys averaging 14 a game. They got Dean, as you look at Courtney Alexander, and also Staples in the 14-point category. That's not only his first basket of the day, that's his first basket in the last 3 games.
Monty Marcaccini checks in now for Virginia, number 33.
Marcaccini, Paisan Marcaccini. He played in Italy. Paisan, come sta?
Transfer from Pepperdine as Robinson takes it and draws the foul. I think you got your languages messed up there, Vital.
Oh, come sta, Italiano.
Okay.
Oh, you got a faccia brutta. You know what that means? A faccia brutta. That's me. They tell me I got a faccia brutta. I'm ugly. as Dean. He's got a bunch of belly. You don't understand my Italian.
It doesn't sound like my grandmother's Italian, I can tell you that. That's all I know. Robinson will head to the line. He's the captain of the team.
He stepped up big as a freshman in the ACC tournament. He was really sensational, and everybody was predicting greatness. And he's been a little bit inconsistent throughout his career, but has what everybody says, you know, the ability and the talent.
It's the second one, his first point of the day. And it's a one-point ball game. It's just under 5 minutes to go first half from Chapel Hill. Williams is wide open, but decides to look inside and stripped away. Nice defensive play by Courtney Alexander.
I'll tell you one thing. Jamison is going to sleep well tonight. They are really knocking him everywhere he goes on the floor. Antoine Jamison taking a lot of bumps and a lot of bruises.
Well, he struggled in the first game against Virginia.
Very physical. That's their style defensively. Really be physical with you.
They've got a lot of bodies they can lay on Antoine Jamison.
See, they try to chase him out of the post. They feel him inside. He loves the post on the interior, number 33.
Carter, pull up off the glass and in. Vince Carter.
I'll tell you, you just watch him play and you just expect greatness when you see how smooth he is, that he has that great athletic ability, he can really rise.
Carter's got 10. And Carolina by 3.
I think Dean Smith should bring Jerry Stackhouse here to every game because I think he's motivated Clark.
Alexander misses and Okalaja finds the rebound.
Got Jamison,
Cota, the alley-oop!
Yes, sir, Mr. Carter. He says, how do you like that, Jerry? I look like you, baby. Jerry, one of the young future stars in the NBA.
That's got everybody on their feet here at the Dean Dome. Harold Dean takes it in. Boy, nice dish right there. Nolan gets another hoop.
Well, he created that, Dean, with tremendous penetration and great strength to his body. You know, he played a brilliant game, a terrific game in the first meeting when he had only 1 point at halftime, but he still was brilliant. As you look at North Carolina, 18-10 on the inside.
3-point ball game.
Oh, look at him bumping inside on Jamison. He is getting used and banged and pushed.
Fouls on Norman Nolan. That's his first.
See, they want to push him away from the box. Now, here he is going to try to get to the post inside. Now, look at him, Nolan, right now, feeling him. He's aware of him every moment on the floor. Look at him. Look at him. Now he's holding the position inside. And this time they flip it up high. They say, Mr. Carter, take us home.
Jamison had his 9th double-double of the year the other night against Georgia Tech. As you mentioned, Dick, 15 and 15. He's got 22 in his career.
Well, you know, as a freshman, he made the All-ACC team, and that's like unheard of.
Well, he shot 63% from the floor last year. Also led them in rebounding.
Yeah, just missed Sam Perkins' record for field goal percentage as a freshman. Perkins still stroking that long three-point shot for George Carl, another North Carolina. Hey, 14 guys in the NBA wore North Carolina uniforms.
Well, coming up next on Wide World of Sports, see this year's champions and special performances from the European Figure Skating Championships in Paris and from Norway, the men's and ladies World Sprint Speed Skating Championships, plus a look back at Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding career on a Wide World Classic. That's next on ABC's Wide World of Sports. And we talked about the backcourt of Virginia at the top of the show, but it's been North Carolina's backcourt that's outscored them in the front court. Virginia 19-11, just the reverse, Dick.
Yeah, it's been a reverse right there. You look at North Carolina getting some good productivity. That's because of Carter, who's labeled as a guard, who's really like a wing player.
Second foul on Norman Nolan.
Sometimes those numbers are very deceiving because you have to look at a situation like a Carter. You label him a guard, but he's really like a wing player who's getting out in transition with some jams.
Jeff Jones' team had a 4-game winning streak snapped the other night at Georgia Tech. They just did not shoot the ball well, and Eddie Policeman came up with a career-high 23 points in that game.
Well, you know, I was in the locker room with him, and he was showing me on the blackboard. He had rebounding, loose balls. He said they didn't get after it. They really didn't play with the kind of intensity and emotion that they should have in that game. After having 4 in a row they won, getting beat by Georgia Tech. This is not a strong Georgia Tech team.
Jai checks back into the game for North Carolina.
You are right. At least we really hurt them with 23. He scored inside and being very active because they controlled Matt Harper, who's certainly one of the 5 best in the ACC. He only had 8.
33-27.
I really got to give a lot of respect to Harold Dean, trying to gut it out here. Most kids would take off right now, and here he is playing hurt.
Dersch turns it down from three-point land, kicks it inside.
Dersch was heavily recruited. Was a big-time recruit. They wanted him here at Carolina.
For three, and he got it. Willie Dersch.
From out of New York City. Not really a great shooter. A lot of people said Chris Mullin, but Chris Mullin's like automatic shooting the ball. He's more or less a streaky shooter, but a kid that understands how to play the game.
19.7 rebounds at Holy Cross High School in Flushing, New York last year for Dersch. And I'll tell you, he's got a wingspan on him, Dick. You know, he reminds me of Mike Reardon.
Oh, Mike Reardon. Years ago. Providence.
Good left-handed, yeah, good left-handed shooter.
Wow, you really going back, taking the clock. Hey, John, help me out here. I mean, Roger tried to pull fast ones on me here. Mike Reardon, but he didn't trick me.
And Reardon was a good NBA player for a lot of years. 33-30. Carolina up by 3. Dean for 3. Won't go. McAndrew can't get it. Okalaja keeps it alive. And here comes Cota. Cota's got Jamison on Dersch. Takes it himself and in.
Great decision right there by Ed Cota. Earlier this year, he would have been flying in the air. He would have been caught up in the air, would have probably charged. He was under control. He waited for the defense to react before he made his move.
Carter with the steal.
As the kid Cota, he's becoming a dazzling player.
And Jamison count it.
Yeah, you credit that to Eddie Cota. DC from out of the Big Apple, New York City. Showing he's a diaper dandy and could be the winner of the ACC Rookie of the Year this year.
I was going to ask you about that. Who was your pick for the ACC?
Well, he's coming on strong. There's the good look right there. And he knows where to go with the rock, Roger. He goes to the guy that's automatic to get that assist, Mr. Jamison.
So you didn't answer me.
Well, I think right now, you know, it's wide open. There's nobody that's really been clearly a dominant player. North Carolina State's got a good freshman by the name of Thornton.
Jamison completes the three-point play, 38-30. Biggest lead for Carolina with 1:27 to go.
Well, that's exactly what Virginia was trying to negate, the transition of North Carolina. All of a sudden, they put on one of those spurts.
Baseline pull-up, and he got trapped in the air. Robinson had nowhere to go. Okalaja.
There's transition again, Roger. They're out in one of those spots. You better get a 20-second timeout, baby. There's T.O., Jeff. Get a T.O.
First two for Okalaja and Ed Cota. Carter's got 5 steals, but the freshman point guard, the 20-year-old freshman point guard, he'll be 21 in May. Eric Dickey had to lay out of school for years. Parents were involved in a terrible auto accident. And you see the freshman, the precocious youth, Tim Duncan, is only a month older than Ed Cota. Garnett and Marbury already in the NFL.
I'll tell you one thing. You look at Tim Duncan, that's an amazing story. 20 years of age. He's completing his 4 years of college. He's going to be such a special player at the next level. And without a doubt, the player of the year. But Ed Cota really was in a situation where he lost a year of school when his mom and dad were in that serious accident, and then he wandered a little bit, and his high school coach took him under his wings, Rock Eisenberg, and got him really situated into a prep school at St. Thomas School. And he also told me today he started school late, didn't start at 5. You know, it's immaterial really in terms of that age factor, other than the fact that he is a little bit mature in terms of the other young players.
Robinson wide open, in and out, won't go as Chris Hunter is checked into the game for Virginia, number 44.
He's from out of Tallahassee. What I mean by immaterial with the age,
Okalaja tried the scoop and draws the foul.
You got to go by basketball experience versus the chronological number in terms of the age factor. And his basketball experience still makes him a freshman. Look at these two guys. Hey, there's Rashid and Jerry. Jerry Stackhouse and Rashid, had they been here for 4 years. You know what's amazing? They put on some great numbers in the NBA as young players, and they would only be rookies next season. That is amazing. And Rashid was playing really well with P.J. Carlissimo before he had that thumb injury. Jerry is in a situation with Iverson where they
He's lucky if he gets the ball.
Well, no, they tease you because they're so spectacular, but their shot selection really is something that they have to work on. And Allen Iverson, I told you, I would take Stephon Marbury to run my club if you want to win. Allen Iverson's going to sell tickets, have you jump out of your seat, and he's great to watch play. I don't like giving cash up, but I'll pay to see Allen Iverson play.
10-point lead with less than 30 seconds to go as Carolina's made a strong run here at the end of the first half as Virginia had kept this game very close.
They're going to open up the court, try to get a little penetration, penetrate, and pitch. As Cota has got a lot more confidence right now in his game. Last game, 10 assists, 1 turnover. Look, wants to screen up on top, wants to penetrate. There's the dish.
Oh, he couldn't quite get it up that time. He got it back going. Jamison puts it in.
Cota said, I would have had an assist. I would have had an assist. Great second effort.
Carolina with a 9-0 run to end the first half, and they move it to a 42-30 halftime lead. Stay tuned for John Saunders. With scores and highlights, we're going to send you to New York as Stackhouse and Rasheed Wallace cheer on, and let's send you to New York right now and John Saunders. Welcome back here to Chapel Hill, where a 9-0 run at the end of the first half has propelled Carolina to a 42-30 lead over the Cavaliers of the University of Virginia. And I'm Roger Twyble, the good-looking guy. Next to me is Dick Veit, now wearing monogram shirts, by the way.
Like that.
I remember when you used to shop, well, let's just...
Kmart specials.
Well, whatever. Good first half for Vince Carter. I think that there were a couple people in the audience he was trying to impress.
Well, you know, maybe some peer pressure here. As we look at the 12 points, the 5 steals, a career high. He's a skywalker. We talk about his high-rise ability, an elevator man who can shoot the open shot. We're going to watch the lob up on top by Cota. There's the reverse jam. And now we're going to see another jam from the weak side. A little dipsy-do dunkaroo. A little peer pressure here for him today. As Rasheed Wallace and Jerry Stackhouse are watching the action. Hey, guys like to impress their peers, baby. And right now, I believe he wants to show those guys he's got a high-wire act by himself.
12 points in that first half for Carter as we take a look at the numbers and look at the rebounds. If North Carolina with 21 plus, they had 12 on the offensive glass.
Well, when you're getting 12 on the offensive glass, Roger, that means you're playing aggressively. That means you're really doing a super job. Yes, Vince, we see the great game you're having. Look at him. He's talking to us here. He says, we see the great game you're having.
And let's recognize Cota had 5 assists in the first half. Now, Dick, in the last 3 games, Cota 21 assists and just 1 turnover.
That is incredible. He's making a real run to be the Rookie of the Year. Lauren Woods has to be in that factor as well, a 7-footer from Wake Forest.
And Ducharme is called for the foul, and that's his 4th, so that really hurts Virginia.
Well, he's a physical presence inside, and they utilize his body physically to muscle people, but he's not a great loss in terms of scoring, Roger. And the bottom line is they got people that can step in. McAndrew's going to come in right now. The next 4 minutes is really crucial for Virginia. They got to get some kind of spurt going.
Antoine Jamison with 11 now. You know, Jamison had such a great freshman year as Carter. So he's made 33 of his last 58. 58.9%.
Well, you know, he's getting a lot of those in transition. He's a good transition player, and he's got good athletic ability, and he's not stepping out trying to shoot threes like he did earlier this year.
Now, Virginia, as they start the second half, has got to get some more production out of Curtis Staples. Played 14 minutes in the first half and just had the 1 3-pointer.
Yeah, it was 1 for 2. They got to get some shots for him. They got to lay some screens down.
McAndrew in the game for Ducharme for 3, in and out, can't get it to go, and Zwicker, the rebound off the Dean miss.
I don't know how long Harold Dean could stay out there, but he is really having a tough time with that leg and that stress fracture.
Zwicker from the free throw line won't go. Okalaja keeps it alive, the battle, and finally Virginia comes up with it quickly down to Staples at the other end. Trapped inside, Nolan with the short jumper, doesn't even draw iron.
The 2 guys that are going to have to step up offensively for Virginia. Alexander's going to have to give him some points, and also Staples. Look at the points in the paint.
Yeah, 26-10 as Williams knocks it down from 3-point land.
Well, he's a big-time 3-point shooter. He was instant offense off that bench last year.
He's got 13.
They had a great start last year, and then they struggled down the stretch.
17-point lead.
Got knocked out in the ACC by Clemson. Greg Buckner made a big dunk at the end of that game.
16-0 run, Dick, going back to the first half as Dean trying to penetrate. McAndrew throws up an air ball.
It's air ball right now. This kid's handling the rock really well.
And the reach-in foul is going to be on Robinson. And I'll tell you, Dean is one tough kid.
See, look how he's hurt. He's really struggling physically. Look at him right here, number 21. He's got a stress fracture in that leg. Shin splints that are really, really causing him a problem.
It's somewhere between shin splints and a stress fracture at this time, but it's officially shin splints. But I'll tell you what, He had to elevate that leg all during practice yesterday. Just shot some free throws. Essentially doesn't practice anymore. Just plays in the games as Swicker hits it on the baseline.
Swicker with that little jumper. Roger, I mentioned stress fracture, but I think you clarified basically what the dilemma is. One more time for the people out there.
Well, he's got shin splints, and it's a little more advanced than shin splints, but it's not a stress fracture. They've done X-rays and MRI, and it's not a stress fracture. And he gets treatment on a regular basis. The trainer told me yesterday he's a model patient. The tip won't go, and I'll tell you, Virginia just can't get anything down. They have not scored since there was 2:43 left in the first half, and we are now 2.5 minutes into the second half. So it's been over 5 minutes during the course of this game that Virginia has not scored. And Jeff Jones, this was the worst case scenario for him. He told me, we've got to rebound with these guys today. And at the end of the first half, that rebounding margin really came up big.
I'll tell you, see Dean, he's leaning over. I mean, he is really, really suffering. He's in pain. Those shin splints are really, really bothering him, Roger. I think you got to make a decision as a coach, and you got to really think of the future and think of the young man, because I don't think you can help them right now the way he's operating on that floor.
Matheny commits the foul. That's his third. Well, I know where you're coming from, but this is such a tough kid. I mean, he's told him, I want to keep playing.
Look at how he's leaning down right there. You can just see how he's hurting right there, number 21. Well, I'm sure that the medical people have advised him that he can't create any further damage, or certainly Jeff Jones would not be utilizing him.
Jamison misses the free throw. I was going to mention, you know, Antoine's dad, Albert, has videotaped every one of his games since he's got a tape of every game this young man's played in since the 8th grade.
Well, his dad has done a great job with his development. Dean Smith told me he comes from a great family. Mom and dad really involved big time.
Well, this has become a 20-point North Carolina lead with 17:09 to go.
Virginia earlier this year beat South Carolina and Massachusetts in the Maui Classic before losing. There's Staples shooting that three.
That's his second tray.
They lost to Kansas in the final of the Maui Classic.
They said that was a two-pointer, but that's a three right there.
I'll tell you, this guy's got an area code jump shot. Shammond Williams coming into this game was 25 for 40.
He's hit 3 trays today. He was 4 of 6 the other night against Florida State. Nolan, the offensive board off the miss. Can't get it to go down. And Swicker, the rebound.
Try to get that reverse layup. We're going to see some transition layup.
Harder from Jamison, won't go.
They try to lose showtime. See, Virginia doesn't get a whole lot in transition. Everything they get is out of a half-court set.
Alexander in the lane. They need something from him. Matheny can't find the rebound, and Swicker with one more.
Alexander was 1 for 5 in the first half.
Okalaja inside of Jamison. Good look inside there. You know, it's interesting, Dick, because we've got 16:02 to go first half. North Carolina got off to a pretty good start this year. You remember, right after Christmas, they went to Europe for 3 games. And then they came back and lost their first 3 conference games. I wonder if that trip to Europe, they didn't have a lot of good competition there, if that might have slowed them down a little bit.
Well, you know, we're 9-1 out of the gate in their pre-conference schedule as you look at the field goals by half here. But the bottom line, Roger, their problems can be really summarized. ACC.
Yeah. As you've said on many occasions, toughest conference in the country.
Yeah, it's not even close. So they finally get Dean out of the lineup.
And stripped away. Cota. He's got Jamison in front. The finish.
That's a big-time jam. That's a Jerry Stackhouse special right there by A.J. and Eddie Cota with another dish. He's really handling the rock. Dean's got to be happy with their performance defensively and offensively.
Pull up on the side by Robinson. Matheny trying to follow, and he fouls.
You know, it's redemption time for North Carolina this week. They got beat by Florida State. They got beat by Virginia. But they're sending a message loud and clear. We are back, baby.
A 13-2 run, Dick, to start the second half, and 22-2 over the last 6.5.
Well, you just see a special bounce out of North Carolina. They got that confidence. I really believe by the end of next week they could be 7-5 in the ACC. They got matchups next week where they take on Georgia Tech, and also they play North Carolina State. 2 games they certainly can win.
Carter loses it. Staples got tied up by Cota. And it'll be Virginia basketball. Well, the backcourt, it's been tough today.
Yeah, it's really been tough for them to score in a half-court game, not getting a lot of good looks. Certainly, Dean, as we said, favoring that leg injury and really trying to do the best he can out of the game, and Staples couldn't get any good looks.
Matheny can't hold on. Staples the left hand. Matheny follows. A little offense by accident there.
Yeah, Chase Matheny, 7 foot. What do you got him listed at?
7'4".
7'4". Swicker 7'3". Oh, Matheny just hugged him inside. He's hugging him, trying to be physical on Swicker. Over Matheny. That bothered him. It's the first time he had to look up at somebody, Serge Swicker. First time he had to look up. This is the guy that really I thought was going to be a big-time scorer this year. Courtney Alexander had that ankle injury and hasn't been able to come back from it.
Well, he's from nearby Durham, North Carolina. And the block by
See, Matt Darjai is becoming a positive player off that bench.
And then Robinson able to knock it away. Kick it outside for 3. Won't go.
He's got that quick release.
Man, I'll tell you, Staples is struggling with that outside shot. Down the other end, Carter can't come up with it. And
I mean, I don't know my math that well, Roger, but 7'3", 7'2". We're talking about 7'3", 7'4", 14 feet 7 inches. Wow, going at it inside. Chase has got to get in that weight room and really develop a little more strength to his body.
He's a sophomore. You know, he transferred for a while to South Carolina during the summer and never enrolled in class and then came back to Virginia. But those are two of the biggest guys in college basketball right there, Swicker and Matheny. Virginia just 2 of 14 in the second half as Durst checks into the game.
They don't have the kind of team that really can get you those big spurts.
Dean off the window and in.
Dean gets it off the glass. I don't think he really planned it that way as you watch him back on the floor. He's got an upper body that's really physical, very strong.
55-36. I think last year you called him a mini Walt Frazier, didn't you?
Well, you know, his body and the way he handled the ball. There's only one Clyde the Glide Frazier. I certainly made it clear he's not a Frazier. He's on the 50 All-Stars of the NBA. I don't know why my guy Bob Lanier's not on here, a Hall of Famer. I don't know why he's not on here. How come you remember that? How come you don't remember that I said David Stoudemire was going to be a star? How come you don't remember that I said I would take Grant Hill over Jason Kidd? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Because Dean's playing here today.
I mean,
if we were doing Stoudemire, we talk about Stoudemire. We're doing this game.
Yeah, but you guys always remember when I make an error, but you never remember my positive. Oh, John, help me out, John. You don't do that. John Saunders, help me out.
Swicker the jump hook, and he's fouled by McAndrew.
I mean, I'm going to make a list of all the times I'm right. You only guys remind me when I'm wrong.
4th foul on McAndrew. What would life be if we didn't have fun with you?
I know. I can say, you know me. I can take it all.
I know it.
Especially when you're going to bite a meal tonight.
How about this guy? Dean Smith averaged 27-plus wins in the 90s, 22 consecutive NCAA tournaments. Now, a 26 straight 20-win seasons. Now, they've won 14 on their way to 15 today.
Well, better than
Little
that.
doubt about that.
Well, better than that, you look at his career record for his career. 24 wins and 7 losses. And we're talking 3 decades. I mean, that is incredible. And in the 90s, North Carolina has been right up there. The best record in the 90s has been Kansas with 214 wins, then Kentucky 202. Then you talk Arizona and their record, then Arkansas, and then North Carolina. One of the 5 best in the 90s.
Dean can't get it to go down from three-point land. 57-36. Carolina running the floor. And Robinson knocks it out of bounds. It'll be North Carolina basketball. And coming up tomorrow, and this might be for #1 in the nation, Dick and I will be out in Columbia, Missouri as Wake Forest takes on the Tigers of Mizzou. Louisville and Memphis. Tulane against Arizona. That's tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. Right here on ABC Sports. Payne Weber, college basketball. And, of course, Kansas against Iowa State in Ames. And Willoughby is healthy this time. If folks remember the KU win in Lawrence, he was out of the second half because of a hamstring pull.
Yeah, I did that game, and he didn't play that second half. Kansas really played well, but they had Scott Pollard. I still say when they have their full complement of players, they're the best in the country.
Williams for three, misses, and a whistle inside.
I see where Tim Floyd said no to LSU because he certainly was on that hit list that they wanted. He's got a great deal up at Iowa State. Now the question is, will James Dickey, look at the score there, Maryland Clemson. Hey, forget about those rumors. Rick Barnes to UCLA. That's not happening. He's very happy where he's at. He loves where he's at. And you take a look at Marquette, Cincinnati. That leads us to the Conference USA at Memphis. That job, watch for Steve Robinson in Tulsa or Ricardo Patton from out of Colorado.
12-12 left to go here. Carolina 57, Virginia 36. The strip by Cota and the foul by Dean. He just can't catch up with him. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, this is such a tough kid, and he wants to play. But, you know, he's just a step slow with this injury.
When do you reach the point and you simply say, maybe we have to rest him and think about the future rather than today? I mean, they're down 21. He is struggling. I'll watch him trying to retreat right here. There he is trying to come from behind. Doesn't have the speed, so he grabs him.
In the bonus, and Cota misses the first one. Jamison to Swicker from the side. Hey, how about Serge Swicker now? He's got 12, averaging 11.2 and 8.1 points. Will he play at the next level?
Well, he's going to get a chance. Obviously, with his size and touch, he'll make somebody's roster. He really will. As you look throughout the NBA, you see people like him who can't shoot the ball as well as he can.
He's got pretty good hands, though.
Yeah, he really does. And I'll tell you, he's just a big kid that isn't going to hurt you. Good practice player as well.
McAndrew kicks it out to Dean. And then Dean loses it. McAndrew finds it, and he throws it away. Nolan. And Swicker comes away with it.
Here comes the running game.
Well, he's got some options here to
Here
Carter.
Comes the running game. Oh, he gets fouled intentional. You got to call that intentional. Good call. Good call. You can get hurt there. He was going up to try and jam that.
Fouls on Dean.
See, I would not play Dean anymore. I would not chance a future injury because they got a long way to go. It's his third foul.
Well, the only way it's going to get better is to rest 4 to 6 weeks, and the kid wants to finish out this year.
There's the grab, the hug. I'm sure, like I said, Jeff knows the situation with Harold. The doctors are advising him and the trainer. The coach is not a doctor. He only can rely on the information provided him, and I'm sure he's been clearanced to play. Been clear to play.
Carter's got 13.
Where a coach has to determine is watching his performance and determine whether or not he's hurting the team or helping the team at times.
As Carter knocks them both down.
There's a look at Dean. Coaching staff talking to Peter Herman, who coached Dave Robinson, a real good mind in basketball, coached him at the Naval Academy.
Roger Dwible, Dick Vitale back with you in Chapel Hill. Virginia has struggled in the second half, just 3 field goals. And how about freshmen at the point? Every decade or so, a freshman starts at point guard for North Carolina. Phil Ford, Kenny Smith, and now Ed Cota, who started a number of games this year.
Well, if Ed could only be half as good as those two guys, he'd have a great career. Phil Ford was one of the special point guards ever to play. There's the
Carter again.
It's showtime right now, Roger. They're doing anything they want offensively. Cota with the good look, Carter with the finish. Nice tandem there for him, and they're young. You got a freshman and a sophomore.
Cota's 7 assists today. His season average 6.4. He leads the ACC in that category.
I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year in the ACC.
From the side, shot block. Nolan gets the miss. Swicker comes away with it.
I think you're looking at the Rookie of the Year right here, Mr. Cota.
Robinson the steal, quickly down to Nolan at the other end, and Norman Nolan has 15, his first 2 of the second half.
Well, he's still playing hard, Nolan.
And Dean Smith cannot like the passing that's going on. Even though they've got this huge lead, you know he doesn't like them making those kind of mistakes, and Okalaja gets off the bench to come in.
That's why he just got off the bench himself, and he's standing up. As you see the lob inside to Mr. Carter.
Is he the most athletic player here at Carolina since Jordan?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Probably since Jordan, I'd have to say yes. But those people that label him as a Jordan-esque kind of player, forget about it. Michael Jordan's in another world. Magnificent. What a great interview last night on ABC. Talking about being a role model, responsibility. I love him. I love talking about guys like Michael and David Robinson and Grant Hill. They all do things the right way.
Okalaja for 3, won't go.
You young kids, you follow them as people. David Robinson was a great student.
As was Willie Dirsch. Throws it up. Nothing but backboard that time. 23-point Carolina lead. Less than 10 minutes to go.
as a kid we don't get a chance to look at. Donald Foyle, what numbers he's posted at Colgate. I heard him in an interview. What a bright young man. Turned down all the big schools to go to Colgate.
Second leading rebounder in the country behind Tim Duncan.
Yeah, we'll see Tim Duncan tomorrow down in Missouri. Norm Stewart told me on the phone, I said, Norm, can you beat them? He said, Dick, we can beat the dream team here. We can beat the Russian team. They come here.
That's because they go to the free throw line so many times. The shot clock down to 3. Williams in the lane. Won't go. Jamison keeps it alive. Oh, great job by Jamison. Swicker hits.
He's got that medium range jump shot. He likes stepping out away from the basket. He's got to work on a little bit more drop step moves inside and going to the basket with his size.
Swicker's got 14. And coming up next on Wide World of Sports, it's special performances from the European Figure Skating Championships and from Norway, the Men's and Ladies World Sprint Speed Skating Championship. Plus a look back at Dick's idol, Arnold Schwarzenegger's bodybuilding career, a Wide World Classic.
You know what? He emulates my body. I'll tell you, he's getting close to me. A little bit more work by Arnold, he can catch me.
We saw your body in the newspaper the other day. I got to tell you, it's nothing to emulate.
My wife was ready to shoot me when she saw that photo.
For 3, and a big three-pointer there by Alexander. His first three-pointer of the day, and he just needs something to get going. He has really struggled of late.
They need a bunch of three-pointers. They got to really... You know,
this back on January 11th, I was going to mention Virginia beating 75-63 in Charlottesville.
Well, they also lost to Florida State, so this week has been redemption week, where they've made up on those 2 L's playing at home. And as we said, you got to win at home.
And Ducharme will foul out. That's his 5th. And you know, it was interesting, Dick, if you go back to those first 3 losses, which had never happened to Carolina before in conference play, as Ducharme gets his 5th foul, they were playing North Carolina State. And Ducharme is finally going to leave as he says goodbye to everyone. But the 4th game in conference was North Carolina State. And if you remember, they staged a great comeback, and Carter led them in the final 2 minutes. They were down in that game, and they came back to pull out that victory. That would have been devastating in Owen Forster.
Yeah, Colin finally gets the message he's out of the game. He was waiting. He didn't want to leave the court. He said, I like it here at Chapel Hill. I like it on this floor. Now you got to go sit in the pine. Got to sit down, Colin.
But they were down 9 to North Carolina State. And yeah, Williams scored 6 of the last 12, and Carter did a nice job for him, and they pulled that victory out.
That was a miracle win. One of their miracle wins. They've had a number of those. They also had a bad loss here where they had a 22-point lead with 14 on the clock and lost to Maryland.
Jamison missed them both. 65-42. Let's see if Alexander can get something going now. Another 3. Tipping around. McAndrew had it momentarily. Still on the floor. Oh, a nice job there by Carter to come up with the ball. Williams.
See, Alexander's got to stop the basketball. The one rap on him has been on a defensive end. They want a better effort out of him defensively. This has not been a good road trip for Virginia in the way they've been beaten in the 2 games that they've lost here this weekend with Georgia Tech and now North Carolina. So they're going to regroup, go back home in Charlottesville. There's a look at Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace. They could have been in the starting lineup right now along with Jeff McGinnis, and you turn around and you put in guys like Jamison and Swicker. Not a bad starting 5.
Absolutely.
But then you put Joe Smith down there in Maryland. What about Marbury at Georgia Tech?
You can do all that stuff.
You can do all of that.
Yeah, we can talk about that all day.
You go with Marcus Camby over at UMass, where Bruiser Flint's got them playing well.
Okalaja from the baseline.
Adamola, Okalaja, he's from Germany. They'll find you if you can play. They got the United Nations team with Zwicker and Okalaja and Jai.
And Robinson for 2. So Jamal Robinson with just 3. And at 67-45, 7:40 to go. A win today will get Carolina back to the 500 mark in conference play at 5-5 for the first time this year. And then Virginia's got to be real concerned with what happens to them down the stretch with Dean hurting, with Alexander struggling. Jamison inside.
I love that move when he catches the ball in a post and he glides and he slides and he takes it right to the rim.
He's got 17.
He knows what to do with the rock when he catches it down and deep. He knows how to complete the play.
You know, Dick, last year was the first time the ACC in 8 years didn't have a team make it to the Final Four as Robinson knocks one down outside. And also, they had only 2 first-round draft picks, was the fewest since '88 when they didn't have any.
Yeah, they really last year, it was not a vintage year. You look at the Big East last year, they had 7 players, though, drafted in the top 30, and that's why the Big East has been on a little bit slide, but they'll be back. It runs in cycles.
Williams.
Shammond Williams over 60% from three-point range. He shows that he can make the easy layup as well.
71-48. Less than 6.5 to go.
And the recruiting classes coming into the ACC are going to keep them up there with the upper echelon. The Dukies certainly are back. Look at Anamola, Okalaja. Afrida Zayn, baby, Afrida Zayn.
We'll return with more action from Virginia, North Carolina game after this message and a word from our ABC stations. 71-48. North Carolina is making this thing a rout here as they started with a run at the end of the first half, a 9-0 run, and kept it going here in the second half. Let's talk about some super sophomores. Dick, who do you like out there that they're in their sophomore year?
You know, Roger, that senior class certainly depleted with everybody going early. South, you got to like Pierce at Kansas. You got to like Ron Mercer. You certainly got to like Chauncey Billups down at Colorado. Jameson here. Lewis Bullock's another great one. And Jelani McCoy down at UCLA are some of the great Souths in America.
McCoy leading the nation in field goal percentage at about 79.5%. As Chris Hunter into the game now, a freshman from Tallahassee. Misses from outside.
He's got to get stronger physically. He was a late signee. You know, you think about UCLA, you mentioned him. Toby Bailey had that great game as you watch Swift with that medium-range jumper again in the NCAA championship in '95. You looked at him then, and you thought he was heading to be the next superstar of college basketball. He's been good, but he's never become the great player people anticipated.
Staples for 3. Well, you know what? He was a complimentary player then. He was coming off the bench filling a role, and he's been asked to be a point guard out at UCLA, and he's really not playing to his strength right now. It's coming to ABC Sunday, everybody. February 23rd, the world premiere of Volcano. Fire on the Mountain starring Dan Cortez. Don't miss this remarkable television event later this month right here on ABC.
He's an MTV guy, right? MTV style. Yeah, you don't watch MTV. Come on now, Raj. You don't watch it.
Not anymore. I watch a lot of kids shows is what I watch.
You want to watch the ESPYs on Monday night. You're going to watch the ESPYs. I'm going to present the Player of the Year award. Will it be Duncan? Will it be Iverson? Will it be Campbell?
Williams, that was a 2 and a 1 go. Who's your date this year? Who's your co-presenter?
No, I'm going by myself. They tell me a little individual show. Last year I had the swimsuit Valeria. She took the spotlight away. Nobody watched me or heard me when I looked at her. I mean, she was the superstar of superstars. Swimsuit of Sports Illustrated.
Folks, Dick going to get big-time FaceTime.
Valeria Plaza.
Swicker has had himself a very nice day here as Coda taking a look, the leaner, and in.
Coda with that little penetration gets the deuce. I can't wait for the ESPYs to see the champ, Muhammad Ali. I mean, in his prime, he would have lined them all up. He would have put Tyson, Bo, and one by one. I used to love it when he used to say, if I dare to boot, I'll get rid of you in 2. And if you dare to call me a bum, I'll knock you out in 1.
Nolan down low, and we've got an injured player. Shammond Williams is on the floor.
This is really the situation that's affecting a lot of colleges right now, injuries, where it changes the whole complexion. You look at, for example, Kentucky played against South Carolina without Prickett, without Derek Anderson, who certainly was one of the top 5 players in America prior to his injury. It looks like he'll be okay here. You look at Kansas losing Scott Pollard.
He gets a knee to the thigh.
That loss of Pollard certainly big for Kansas because he's a shot blocker. He's a shot blocker inside. He scores in double figures. He gives a good comfort zone for Rafe LaFrentz, who's been playing super basketball. In fact, that Big 12's got some really outstanding big people. Tony Batti's outstanding, and so is Kelvin Cato. Iowa State. So is Mr. Jameson, showing why he's a sliding, gliding super south.
Jameson's got 19. Was he on your super sophomore list?
Oh, he's like the head of the class. He's just tremendous.
Nolan tries to power it in. 77-50, 27-point Carolina lead. And Jameson comes up with a loose ball.
Coda's really become a little general out there. In control, in command of the situation, making good looks, penetrating and pitching really well.
Swicker. Well, he's got that baseline jumper down, doesn't he?
He really has. That's his shot. He really makes that open shot all day.
18 for Swicker. 19 for Jamison. Williams has 18. Carter's got 16. 29-point lead. From the corner, the three will not go for Curtis Staples.
It's all North Carolina today. Offensively, defensively, aggressiveness. They have clearly been the dominant team here today.
Hunter with the block. Hunter went to Florida A&M High School in Tallahassee. 15 points, 13 rebounds, 7 blocks a game, and he's getting some playing time as we have a timeout with 3:05 left to go from the Dean Dome. A lot of subs getting in the game, and this young man, Brad Frederick, will get his playing time today. Scored his first 2 points of his college career the other night. There's his dad, the athletic director at the University of Kansas, who hired Roy Williams away from North Carolina.
Yeah, you know what else? I can't believe it. He was a coach. I didn't know he coached in basketball. He coached our producer, Tim Belton, over at Stanford. He coached there as an assistant, was an assistant at Kansas, was a head coach at Coffeyville Junior College. I learned that last night, Roger. How come you never told me that?
I thought you knew everything. That's the only reason I didn't tell you that.
You didn't tell me that. This is Maktar's gang right here. This is Maktar's gang. He's the star of this gang.
All the subs in right now for North Carolina. Webb Tyndall, Charlie McNary.
He's an outstanding scholar, Moorhead scholar, great student. Came from the same city as Jerry Stackhouse, Kinston, North Carolina.
Ryan Sullivan's in there.
Yeah, his brother Pat works here on the staff as a guy in charge of the videotape and the film room.
Vasco Evtimov is also in the game. That's big Vasco, number 54.
Yeah, Vasco can absolutely pass the rock. He really can pass it. Evtimov is a kid that they think eventually can get in their rotation.
Well, you talk about wide world of sports. This is wide world of college basketball players here in North Carolina.
I mean, they got to come all over. We got Maktar Jai. We got Evtimov is from Bulgaria.
Koda's from Panama.
It's unreal. So you got to be United Nations down here. Dima speak a lot of languages. I'll tell you one thing. He's been a master coach in every era. He's been there with the three-point shot. He's made adjustments to the time clock. He's been able to be successful against all the youth in the game. And he still has his vitality, and he still has his energy. This Bill Guthridge, one of the most loyal assistants, has turned down a number of jobs to remain here at North Carolina.
As Jai comes out, Brad Frederick comes in as Alexander takes it to the hoop and count it.
I'll tell you, a young coach, though, that's really put on some impressive numbers. When you look at the resume of Jeff Jones, and you think of his age, and you think of a guy that played in '81, he's been, as you said, 19 consecutive years involved with Virginia basketball, 4 NCAA tournament bids, 4 seasons with 20 or more wins, and he's the only person ever to play for an NIT champion and to coach an NIT champion. 1980, played in 1992, coached the championship. And he learned from one of the best minds in the game, Terry Holland.
Now the athletic director.
There's a great guy, one of the super people involved in college athletics, Terry Holland.
Also did some work as an analyst for
at ESPN.
a number of years.
He's involved in all kinds of committees within the NCAA. His name is being bandied around as a potential guy to take over ultimately as the commissioner of the ACC.
Tyndall got it to Evtimov, and it wouldn't go. Also in the game, Terrence Newby, 21. Evtimov!
Oh, the left-hand jump!
Bulgarian basher!
Oh, there he is, Evtimov! They do with a big reputation. Look at him banging now inside. He's all pumped up.
Robinson for 3. Nothing going down today for Virginia.
There's
Evtimov.
Oh, they missed him.
Newby finds him off the rim. And want to remind you, tomorrow night on ABC starts with an hour of America's Funniest Home Videos. Then they went through hell, fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, and lived to tell about it. The all-new I Survived a Disaster, followed by the world premiere of Seduction in a Small Town. That's all tomorrow night on ABC.
Roger, I was talking to my buddy and your buddy, Mike Patrick, when we were working the game together, Wake Forest and Duke. And we started to talk a little bit about if you ever had to name 5 guys as the all-time ACC best.
Wow.
I mean, that is tough. And there's a real gutty kid, Harold Dean, who played really on one leg and tried to give his best. But you look back, I did it with Dean before the game. He said, don't even get me involved in that. He said, you leave off so many great guys. Think about that. One guy I know for sure would make the team. One guy locks in David Thompson for what he did at NC State.
Oh, he's not afraid to put it up. Evtimov had it thrown back in his face by Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter with the rejection.
And the three from outside by Courtney Alexander.
That's the guy that's got to step it up for them if they're going to get back in the winner's column once they regroup out of here. Courtney Alexander, they need his offense.
The ball's moving a little too fast out there for some of these reserves who are so excited to get into the game. Get their little playing time.
You know, you mentioned about that, again, that ACC All-Star team. Some sponsors should do that and have a vote in from all over the ACC country and come up with 5 names. I think one guy, what about Phil Ford?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I was going to say you can't forget about him.
Well, there's a guy down there by Hunter. There's a guy down there in Maryland as Hunter gets the deuce by the name of John Lucas when he played at Maryland. I mean, we could go on and on. Michael Jordan, Art Heyman,
Billy Cunningham.
Billy Cunningham. I mean, the list, Tom McMillan. I mean, the Albert King. I mean, you could go on and on with so many great players in this conference.
81-57, the final from Chapel Hill, and we'll be back to the Dean Dome in a moment. Back here in Chapel Hill, final North Carolina 81, Virginia 57, and Dick, they did it with a 22-2 run over the final couple of minutes of the first half and the beginning of the second half. And you see North Carolina gets to 500 at 5-5. Virginia drops to 5-6.
Well, you know, we're 0-3 at one time, Roger, so that's really big in this conference to get to 5-5 and then making that run again to finish in the upper echelon 33 consecutive years. They've done it 32 in the top 3.
And we're going to see Wake Forest against Missouri tomorrow in Columbia, Missouri.
That could be for number 1.
That could be for number 1. So for Dick Vitale, I'm Roger Twyble. Thanks for being with us from the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. Let's send you to New York right now. And John Saunders. John?
Roger, thanks a lot, although I believe we'll hear from Dick Vitale at least one more time. So North Carolina comes up with a big victory. It's time now for the U.S. Army post-game report. When we come back, we'll have scores and highlights, including another game in the ACC that might surprise you. Big East and Atlantic 10 highlights as well. It's all coming up on the U.S. Army post-game